Time is coming up on 6:04.
Hey Milwaukee, now is the best time of year to replace your old drafty, cheap, or builder-grade windows. And Window Nation can get the job done in 1 day or less. Right now, when you buy 2 windows, you'll get 2 for free. Plus, you won't make any payments for 2 years. That's right, no interest, no monthly payments, and no down payment. Plus, for a limited time, you can score free Brewers tickets when you replace all the windows in your home. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com now.
Fall in Milwaukee, where the air is crisp, the drinks are cold, and the good times are just heating up. Stroll Milwaukee's lakefront and explore its parks as they burst into a kaleidoscope of golds, ambers, and reds. Raise a glass at a beer garden that feels like a neighborhood block party, Milwaukee style. And just as the temps fall, Brewers baseball is turning up the heat. October dreams are made right here. This season, every color, every cheer, every sip, it all comes together in Milwaukee. Craft your perfect getaway at visitmilwaukee.org.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Earlier this morning, thousands flocked to American Family Field for the postseason Pocket Pancake Breakfast. Manager Pat Murphy, noted for keeping pocket snacks during games, was on hand flipping flapjacks.
Yeah, it's great to see the support for the Brewers. That's what it's about.
The Brewers need just one more win to clinch the #1 seed and home field advantage in the playoffs, and one more win to break a franchise record. The Crew starts their last regular season series tonight against the Reds. Our coverage starts right after Brewers Warmup after the news. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Just one incident to report. The ramp from Wisconsin 175 south to 94 east. The right shoulder is blocked there with a disabled vehicle, but it looks like traffic is moving through that area. Otherwise, you're going to see slowdowns. 94 east between the Zoo interchange and the Stadium interchange, you'll be tapping the brakes in different places. And 43 south between Brown Deer and Locust. Stay safe out there, everyone. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, clear and comfortable with a low of 58. For your Friday, sunny, a warm and high 78. Saturday, morning fog and sunny and warm, a high of 82. For your Sunday, beautiful and warm, a high of 75. And for your Monday, sunny and warm with a high of getting to 80. Right now in Milwaukee, it's sunny and 65 degrees. I'm Tiff Pua. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 6:06.
This is Brewers Warm-Up with Dominic Cotroneo. Hear lineups, manager insights, and a preview of tonight's game right now. This is Brewers Warm-Up. Here's your host, Dominic Cotroneo.
Let's do it. The final weekend is here. The Brewers, the Reds. Maybe a franchise record will fall this evening. Welcome into Brewers Warm-Up, everybody. I'm Dominic Cotroneo. We've got plenty of sound from Pat Murphy. We also have 5 good minutes with Robert Gasser, who's going to be tomorrow's starting pitcher for the Brewers. Robert now back off the injured list. He started, of course, last Sunday in the clincher to win the division. And then we'll also talk a little bit about injury updates and what the Brewers have coming up with their pitching rotation, some key arms. We're on the mound today. We'll explain that in a little bit as well. We're going to the bottom of the hour, then the news, then the On Deck Show will take over from there. Jeff Levering and Lane Grindle on the call here from the ballpark. No, the Brewers 96 wins. They only have a magic number of 1 to clinch home field advantage throughout the entire postseason. That means either a Brewers win or a Phillies loss will get the trick done, no matter what happens in Phillies game. If the Brewers win, it's all taken care of. That's relevant because it's already 1-0 Philly. Their final series of the year is at home against the Minnesota Twins. Meanwhile, these Reds, they got a lot to play for. The standings and the wild card are crazy. Just 1 seat left at the table. There are 3 teams in the mix. The Mets are currently 1 game clear of Cincinnati. The Mets will finish their season in Miami. Cincinnati holds the tiebreaker on New York, meaning all they have to do is tie the Mets to get into the postseason. Arizona is still mathematically alive, but they need to go 3-0 this weekend against the San Diego Padres, who need to sweep the weekend in order for them to host the wild card series against the Cubs. So you got all that. One more time. The Reds need to tie or, of course, take the lead on the Mets and they will have the final wildcard spot, which means they would be going to L.A. to take on the Dodgers in a best-of-3 series, all three of those in Los Angeles. The Mets will be finishing in Miami, who, oh, by the way, rearranged their rotation to have their three aces go in that series. Sandy Alcantara tonight, Eury Perez tomorrow, and Edward Cabrera on Sunday. Shades of 07-08 for the Mets of this collapse that they have been on right now to keep the Reds relevant. The point being, the Reds have got a lot to play for, and we'll get to the lineups a little bit later on in the program and trying to figure out who is going to be the last team in. The Brewers, with 96 wins, means one more victory is a new franchise record for most wins in a single season in Brewers history. What does all that mean in the eyes of Pat Murphy, who was marveling at the support that the Brewers had today at the Pocket Pancake Breakfast here at American Family Field? Estimates of 10,000 fans were here, and Murphy even joked as he was pulling around the corner, coming from the east side of the ballpark and coming around the end and coming toward the outlines. Like, oh, man, I don't know how many people are going to be here. Then, boom, you see the line of cars, a line of people. He was fired up to see all that. But the point being is that it's just the regular season, but knowing this team is heading to October, you can't take one without the other. And he came up with a pretty good analogy to compare what it means to be a successful regular season team heading into October.
Again, I think the regular season is the mark of who the team is. I think the postseason is the icing on the cake, and nobody wants to eat cake without icing. So, but I do believe that there is no cake without the cake. It's not just icing. So pretty good analogy I just made up on the fly.
I mean, that's a Murphism, the Murph session to a T, right? I mean, he'll crack a joke, 70 grade funny, we've all heard the bits, but it's true. Nobody wants cake without the icing, right? If you have a great regular season, but then you don't get anything on top, it's like, like that's what the Reds are going through right now. They want to get to their icing. And the Brewers, they understand that, all right, the cake tastes really good, but you know what will complete it? Is making sure that icing is good, given how great this season has been for Milwaukee, and they are guaranteed a bye and one win away from sending themselves home field advantage throughout the entire postseason. That includes the World Series, since they've already clinched that over Toronto. Toronto and New York are in lockstep as to who's going to win the AL East. We'll do a big scoreboard segment later on in the program once a few more of these East Coast games have got underway. Up next, we're going to hear from the young lefty, back active once again, Robert Gasser. He will be tomorrow's starting pitcher for the Brewers, originally acquired in the Josh Hader trade back in 2022. Now back from Tommy John surgery and figures to be a big part of this postseason roster. Robert Gasser coming up next on 620 WTMJ.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or Sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1 day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's four walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
I'm here to help. This is your WTMJ Fix-It Show host, David Nason, with expert advice for our listeners. If you're dealing with leaks, stains, or cracks in your basement, it's time to call my trusted friends at Accurate Basement Repair. And you know what? You'll get a free expert evaluation on me. You just tell them David Nason, the Fix-It guy, told me to call. Don't let basement issues mess up your home. Trust Accurate Basement Repair to get the job done right. And again, that's Accurate Basement Repair, 414-744-6900 or AccurateBasementRepair.com.
Now, more of Brewers Warm-Up on WTMJ.
Welcome back on Brewers Warm-Up. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Pleased to be joined by Robert Gasser here in the clubhouse today as the Brewers get ready for the last series of the year. Robert, welcome back to the big league clubhouse, man. It's been a minute since we've seen you here. What's this journey been like for you coming back from Tommy John surgery?
It's been a grind. Well, thanks for having me first off. But yeah, it was a grind, you know. A lot of tough times in rehab, but you know, you work through it and you end up getting back to the big leagues the next year. So at the end of the day, I can't complain.
When you started out on the process, and you know, we've learned it's full Tommy John, and you know, it's timing's always brutal, right, to have it in the middle of the season. Did this go according to plan? Were there setbacks, and what did you learn about this whole process to get healthy again from Tommy John surgery?
Yeah, I mean, it went as smoothly as you could hope. You know, obviously there's always going to be, not always, but there's usually going to be setbacks in that process of just, you know, growing pains again and getting back into throwing and adjusting to, you know, putting your body into that stress. But at the end of the day, like, you know, I was super happy to be able to, one, just get out of the complex before the end of the year. Like, just getting the Nashville was like, wow, you know, that's positive for me. But, you know, once you get the call here and you're like, wow, it's pretty remarkable to get back after that 1 year. But yeah, you know, rehab's a grind. It makes you appreciate how much you really do love this game and how lucky we are to play it. So yeah, I'm just glad to be back.
So let's go to Nashville, where you're rehabbing, you're starting traditionally, and then the decision at the start of September, they're going to shorten you up, they're going to have you more in this multi-inning role. How do you react to that, and how has it gone so far, since now we've seen you make a start back in the big leagues in the meantime as well?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, whatever I can do to help this team win, I'm down for. You know, I was glad that we, you know, got all the workload I needed to, you know, prove that I can go 5 innings, get, you know, started work in. But yeah, like I said, whatever it takes to help the team win, whatever role that may be, I'm all in for.
When you look at your stuff and your repertoire since coming back now, it's a limited sample in the big leagues, but what did you see in AAA as it comes out of your hand and like, okay, that feels normal, that feels crisp, of the things that were working for you before you went down with the injury?
You know, they talk a lot about proprioception. It's a big word that I don't know a whole lot about, but it's just about the feel that you have. You know, some guys I hear struggle with finding the command. You know, I definitely had my days. You know, I still do, but who doesn't? But yeah, I felt like I was able to feel the ball in my hand pretty well coming off of it. You know, obviously tweaking some things, getting feel for spin back. That was probably the hardest part. But you know, once it was just like getting in the game environment again and the flow of things, I feel like it kind of took care of itself.
For somebody like you that is so command oriented, right? Like, some of your best stuff comes from the fact that you're in and around the strike zone a lot. What were the mental battles like, man, I hope this comes back? Or like, was there moments of, like you said, there were some bad days in the rehab process, but when you were able to see, okay, that's executing like I'm supposed to, the mental confidence that can bring?
Yeah, I mean, in Arizona, I was struggling to feel the spin early. You know, kind of started to get a feel for it, but went to, you know, Wisconsin for my first, you know, rehab outing out of the affiliate, and I gave up 2 runs in the first, and it was like, all right, like, you know, you're gonna have to pitch again, you know, you can compete. So I think once I got out of the, like, hey, feeling stuff around and started to, like, hey, I gotta get hitters out, that's kind of when it started to take care of itself again.
So as we look at your process in this Brewers organization, right, from the trade acquisition to the slow burn in 23, then you get called up in 24, but it's short-lived, and to now to be on the precipice of potentially being on a postseason roster, how do you make of your first 2.5, 3 years of being in the Brewers organization?
Man, well, this organization has been great since I've gotten here. You know, built so many good relationships, players, coaches, staff. So, you know, I'm just super grateful to have, you know, great people around me. But, you know, that's how it goes. I feel like there's a lot of people who, you know, there's not many people who just show up and, you know, they're there. That's their career. They just go all the way through. They're lucky if they do. But, you know, it's you gotta earn your stripes a little bit. So, you know, I'm just hoping that I keep getting opportunities, and when I do, I take full advantage.
Robert Gasser joining us here on WTMJ. Appreciate the time. Best of luck, good health, and have some fun here at the end of the year.
Thanks, Tom.
Back with more after this on 620 WTMJ.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Patrick and Monica initially chose a bank to get pre-approved and provide financing for the purchase of their first home. But they were getting a bad feeling when a week after their offer was accepted, the bank still hadn't locked in their rate, nor had the appraisal been ordered. Monica shared her concerns with a friend who happened to be a multi-time Accunet client. That led to Monica connecting with one of our senior loan consultants the same day, and after gathering some information and reviewing options, we locked in their rate right then and there with loan cost $3,600 lower than what the bank had quoted. The appraisal was ordered right away too, and the loan closed on time just 3 weeks later. We also noticed an oversight in the contract that led to a $3,000 credit from the seller. You can get a generic pre-approval and average or worse service from a bank, or you can get the kind of fast service, advice, attention to detail, and savings that made Monica and Patrick Accunet's latest raving fans. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Networks, streaming services, retail chains, and tech giants are all adding plus to their names. But where did the concept originate? We may be biased, but we think these big wigs found their inspiration for plus at Hasseless Mattress. Hasseless showrooms are employee-free. Give your mattress a try with no pushy sales guy. Plus, our 35 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393. Plus, unbeatable prices on Tempur-Pedic. Plus, free next-day delivery and setup. Plus, free haul-away and disposal of your old mattress. Plus, 60-month interest-free financing on select Tempur-Pedic with approved credit. Plus, a $300 MasterCard gift card with your Tempur-Pedic mattress. Plus, a ruggedly handsome spokesman with a smooth radio voice. Get all this, plus a whole lot more when you shop at Hasseless Mattress. Or maybe we should change our name to Hasseless Plus. Nah. Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at Hasseless.com.
Back to Brewers Warm-Up on WTMJ.
Welcome back. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Brewers and Reds. I was looking at some of the scores here that we're going to keep an eye on and all the scenarios that are in play over in the American League. So let's try to give this as concisely as possible, and we'll talk about the Brewers in our final segment coming up at the bottom of the hour. So in the American League, we know a couple of participants. There's only one division that's clinched, and that's the West. The Seattle Mariners, 90-69. They're also guaranteed to have a bye. Now, the AL East is tied 91-68 apiece for the Blue Jays and the Yankees, but the Blue Jays have the tiebreaker if those two teams end up with the same record. So the Yankees are currently the number one wild card. The Yankees will be finishing their season coming up here against the Baltimore Orioles at home in the Bronx. Whereas Toronto, they are hosting the Tampa Bay Rays, and Toronto, in fact, is already up 1-0, an RBI from Nathaniel Lucas. An RBI double from him. So, the point being, in the American League, Detroit currently holding on to the last wild card spot. They are 86-73. Technically tied with Cleveland, but Cleveland now takes a tiebreaker by virtue of winning that series this week in Cleveland. Now, Cleveland will be finishing with the Texas Rangers. Nothing is official yet, but Texas is already up 1-0 in the top of the first inning. But then furthermore, Detroit, they are in a battle with the Boston Red Sox. Both of those teams are the last two teams in the American League, and they're playing head-to-head. So that brings the Houston Astros into play because somebody of those two teams has to lose. Houston is currently a game back between Detroit and Detroit and Boston. When you think about tiebreakers, Boston has it head-to-head on Houston. Detroit has it head-to-head on Houston. So the Astros are in really, really tough shape to try to make it in just by virtue of a tie. So as things stand right now, if the playoffs started tomorrow, Toronto and Seattle would have the byes. The Yankees would be hosting the Red Sox, and Detroit would be going to Cleveland for another 3-game series. Buckle up in the American League. Here in the National League, it's a little more cut and dry. The Mets, again, they are currently 1 game up on these Cincinnati Reds the Brewers are playing. Cincinnati has the tiebreaker, though, so they just need to at least win a series, or if they win 1 game and the Mets get swept, then we can talk about that as well. But the point being is that the Reds do not control their fate. The Reds do not have the chance to say, all right, well, if they win out, they still need 1 more loss from the Mets in order to flip that scoreboard and then take control once again. So the Mets and the Marlins, they are just getting underway down in Miami. That game is scoreless in the bottom of hold the presses. A home run from Pete Alonso, also an RBI for Francisco Lindor. It is 2-0 Mets in the first inning against Sandy Alcantara and the Miami Marlins. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as well. In the wild card, who is going where? We know the 4-5 is Chicago and San Diego. Chicago has already won today. San Diego plays later tonight hosting the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, Arizona is mathematically alive, then the Diamondbacks need to basically win out. They need a lot of help. They're in trouble. But San Diego, if they win out and Chicago loses the next 2 games against St. Louis, all of a sudden the wild card is going to San Diego. Chicago is in good shape to host that best of 3 against the Padres at Wrigley Field. But one more win for Chicago will take care of that with just 3 games remaining. That's a lot to keep track of, but we'll have all the results and everything to look out for tonight after the game in Brewers Extra Innings. We're going to talk a little bit injury report coming up next. Key updates on the bullpen, key updates on who's going to be available these next few days as we wrap up Brewers Warm-Up after this on 620 WTMJ.
Hey Brewers fans, did you know you can get free tickets to an upcoming Milwaukee Brewers game if you replace all the windows in your home with Window Nation? And this month, when you buy 2 windows, Window Nation will give you 2 for free. Plus, you won't make any payments for 2 years. That's right, no interest, no monthly payments, and no down payment. Get 1-day installation with Window Nation, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Fall in Milwaukee, where the air is crisp, the drinks are cold, and the good times are just heating up. Stroll Milwaukee's lakefront and explore its parks as they burst into a kaleidoscope of golds, ambers, and reds. Raise a glass at a beer garden that feels like a neighborhood block party, Milwaukee style. And just as the temps fall, Brewers baseball is turning up the heat. October dreams are made right here. This season, every color, every cheer, every sip, it all comes together in Milwaukee. Craft your perfect getaway at visitmilwaukee.org.
Pitch by pitch, inning by inning, game by game. Watching the Crew is a 162-game journey of grit, hard work, talent, and determination. Dave Spanel from Annex Wealth Management, we're with you on your journey as well. Your hard work and money deserve a partner like Annex for your investment, retirement, tax, estate planning as a fee-only fiduciary. Take the next step towards retirement you desire and begin the conversation soon. Head to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and progressive.com.
Start your journey now. Don't wait. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Schedule your free consultation to lose up to 1 pound of fat per day. No drugs, no injections, no exercise. It's safe, fast, and costs a fraction of those injections. Book your free consultation at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Now, more of Brewers Warm-Up on WTMJ.
So we heard from Robert Gasser. He is going to be starting tomorrow's game. Tonight it'll be Quinn Priester. We'll talk about the lineup here in this final segment as well. Robert Gasser will go tomorrow. Shortened start again for him. Jacob Mizorowski is also expected to be used tomorrow. Also, Freddie Peralta will be starting on Sunday. Also a shortened start for him as the Brewers try to keep them all tuned up and ready to go with the layoff coming between the end of the regular season and the start of the DS a week from tomorrow, Saturday, October 4th. Here's what Pat Murphy had to say just simply about what this tandem could look like tomorrow with Robert Gasser starting the contest.
So, for instance, you might see like a guy like Gasser start the game. For instance, it could be tomorrow. You see Gasser start the game, and Gasser's not fully blown out, so stretched out. So Gasser may start the game, and then you might see Miz, and Miz will go until he can't.
When you look at Miz, he was a reliever at the end of the year last year for AAA Nashville. He hasn't done it yet at the big league level, but Murph was just cut and dry. Like, he's going to need to get outs, but it's not just going to be a one-and-done type situation where he's throwing multiple times a week.
Yeah, I think we'll know early in that outing, and we'll monitor it, but I think he's an important piece. I think he's got huge upside, and he's got huge possibilities for us, and I think he can help us right now.
Jacob Mizrowski, tomorrow's going to be a big chance for him to make sure that he throws his hat in the ring for the postseason roster. So let's get to the starting lineups now, starting with your home team, Milwaukee Brewers. Again, throwing Quinn Priester on the mound, going up against the home run allowed leader in Major League Baseball. That is Zach Littell for the Cincinnati Reds. He was acquired at the trade deadline from Tampa Bay. The Brewers lineup has Christian Yelich once again in the leadoff spot. He is the DH. Jackson Chourio trying to get him going again. He is in center, batting second. Bryce Terang will hit third, playing second base. William Contreras back behind the plate, the double day off for him. He had Wednesday off and, of course, the team off day yesterday. Batting fifth is Sal Frelick. He is in right. Andrew Vaughn is at first. He hasn't hit a homer for a minute, but he is batting sixth. Jake Bauers gets another start in left field. He'll hit seventh. Andrew Monasterio giving Caleb Durbin a day off. Mona will play third base and bat eighth. And finally, Joey Ortiz is the shortstop, batting ninth for the Crew. Once again, Yelich, Chourio, Terang, Contreras, Frelick, Vaughn in the middle, and then Bauers, Monasterio, and Ortiz. So this is a few games in a row now that Christian Yelich has been in the leadoff spot. Let's go ahead and use our thinking brains here, and you'll hear my question to Pat Murphy as to what do you like, what could it lead to, and maybe it's not just about who starts the inning, but maybe about when the game progresses. You know, the leadoff guy generally only bats leadoff once in a game, so how important could it be for the other guys later in the order?
I think that's been proven, and that's something we're looking at. Plot thickens. It's like anything else. You don't put in all your trick plays until the end of preparations, right? You don't open up football camp in July and start throwing in the flea flicker, right? You wait and wait and wait. Now it's time, the little fumble rooski, so you wait. If you can get there, if you can even. Trick plays are only used if you can get in that position. I waited and waited and waited and thought, you know what? Let's look at it. I had a couple other people mention it to me, and it kind of triggered, like, you know what? I've been saying I was going to do that. Let's see what it looks like. See how it feels. Yelly's so much of a team guy. He's just willing to help any way he can.
Do you buy into the theory too that the one hitter can help the nine hitter, where maybe because Yelly's gravity at the top of the order, maybe the guy in the nine spot gets more pitches in the zone? Is there anything to that?
Dom, if I didn't know better, I think you were really following baseball.
I get lucky every once in a while when Murph likes a question from one of us in the media, but that's the truth. So Yelly hitting leadoff is a reflection of helping out Joey Ortiz hitting nine. Think of all those scenarios where Joey comes up with runners in scoring position, and he's going to get more strikes because they're afraid of having to pitch to Christian Yelich with runners in scoring position. It's not a knock on Sal Frelick, but it helps the lineup construction. If Joey can have somebody with pop behind him, like, oh, man, we got to get this guy. You're going to throw him more strikes. And Joey does have decent strike zone discipline. There have been times that it's lapsed on him, but he's somebody the Brewers need to get going here in these final couple weeks. All right, we'll leave you with a couple injury report updates and what the Brewers have cooking here at the ballpark. First and foremost, Jose Quintana. He threw a 3-up, 45-pitch live batting practice here at the ballpark earlier today. In the words of Pat Murphy, I thought he looked absolutely fantastic. They don't anticipate him needing much more work if he's going to get a start in Game 3 of the NLDS. That is still TBD for the Brewers. But the fact that Quintana made it through healthy, we'll see how he recovers tomorrow. Speaking of that, Trevor McGill also threw a live batting practice today. 19 pitches, touched 96 miles an hour. In the words of Murph, didn't quite look himself yet, but again, if he recovers well tomorrow, they expect him to be activated on Sunday just to get him into one more game ahead of the postseason. And if he doesn't recover well, so be it. They'll keep him on the IL for the time being, and then they can decide to activate him ahead of the NLDS. Also, DL Hall threw earlier this week in Arizona. 25 pitches. He could be activated over the weekend. He's a second-day soreness guy, so they want to see how he makes it through today and tomorrow. He also could be activated by Sunday. That's another key lefty in the middle of this Brewers bullpen that will be important based on their matchup. All right, that is going to do it for Brewers Warm-Up today. Again, Jeff Levering and Lane Grindle are on the call here on WTMJ and across the network as the Brewers and the Reds, all eyes in the National League on the Mets and the Reds. We're all going to be here at American Family Field. Our producer has been Matt Yazel. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Talk to you after. Keep on swinging.
As you're cheering on your favorite team, leave your home comfort to Carrier. Whether it's keeping your current heating and cooling system running smoothly or upgrading to a new one, your local Carrier dealer has got you covered. Plus, now is the perfect time to step up your comfort game with a Carrier home comfort system. Receive tax credits of up to $2,600 when you choose a qualifying Carrier heating and cooling system. Turn to the experts at Carrier and ask about tax credits, local rebates, and financing available for qualified buyers. Carrier, proud partner of the Milwaukee